Oscar De La Hoya is preparing to pit Vergil Ortiz Jr. against Terence Crawford, provided Ortiz emerges victorious in his upcoming fight. When asked if Vergil is ready for Terence Crawford, De La Hoya confidently affirmed, "Oh yeah, he's ready for anybody." 21-0 with 21 knockouts. On a recent Saturday night in Las Vegas, Ortiz Jr. secured a majority decision win against Vergil to become the interim WBC super welterweight champion. This intense fight was notable for Ortiz overcoming 2 knockdowns and still emerging victorious. The toe-to-toe battle showcased Ortiz's resilience, but also exposed that he might not yet be ready to take on Crawford, the WBA champion. "It was a close fight," said Ortiz. Vergil came prepared and put up a tough fight. Despite the win, Ortiz showed some weaknesses, raising questions about his ability to challenge Crawford. Turki Alec, who previously pursued a Canelo versus Crawford matchup, has now shifted his focus to a potential clash between Crawford and Ortiz. Alec emphasized that if the Canelo bout couldn't be arranged, his next target was Crawford versus Ortiz. Turki mentioned, "If they accept, we want to see this fight." Alec's determination was evident when he visited Ortiz's dressing room before the fight to motivate him, knowing that the next challenge could be the biggest of his career. Before Ortiz's fight, Alec spoke with DAZN, expressing his enthusiasm for the potential Crawford-Ortiz bout. De La Hoya praised Alec's dedication to making significant fights happen, saying, "We love Turki coming into the sport of boxing to make big fights happen for the fans." He also spoke highly of Crawford, labeling him as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. According to De La Hoya, Crawford's undefeated status and his fan-friendly style make him a formidable opponent. However, De La Hoya also noted Crawford's recent struggles when moving up to 154 pounds, suggesting that Ortiz could pose a real threat. Looking ahead, De La Hoya expressed interest in a showdown between Ortiz and Crawford in the first quarter of next year. However, he mentioned that Ortiz might first face Tim Chu to build up his profile before the Crawford fight. "In a perfect world," De La Hoya said, "Ortiz fights Chu, and the winner faces Crawford. That's what boxing is all about." De La Hoya is confident in Ortiz's abilities, stating that Ortiz has the skills needed to defeat Crawford. He pointed out that Crawford has shown vulnerabilities when opponents don't stand directly in front of him and use movement and varied attacks. De La Hoya believes Ortiz's combination of power, speed, and ring generalship could challenge Crawford effectively. Crawford was exposed in his recent fight against Madov, he explained. "If you're on your toes, throw your jab and combinations. He has trouble figuring you out." However, Ortiz's original plan was to face Tim Chu in August, but the match was canceled due to Chu's injury from a previous fight. The cut he suffered left his team cautious about rushing him back into the ring, especially against a dangerous opponent like Ortiz. Chu's promoters are now considering a gradual return to ensure his full recovery. Chu himself expressed confidence that both he and Ortiz have time to reschedule the fight later down the line. "We're both young, and there's plenty of time for that fight," he said. Meanwhile, De La Hoya continues to push for big fights for Ortiz. He highlighted that Ortiz has been consistently taking on challenging opponents to prepare him for world titles. "We want to get him to that world title right away," De La Hoya stated. "We want to go after Chu, Crawford, and the top guys." Ortiz is 21-0 with 21 knockouts. "We can't wait any longer." Ortiz recently claimed the WBC interim junior middleweight title, putting him in a position to face Crawford. However, Chu's camp might hesitate to take on Ortiz if they're eyeing a more lucrative fight with Crawford. Chu's team is being cautious, aiming for full recovery before facing another top contender. Robert Garcia, Ortiz's trainer, discussed the possibility of a Crawford fight, emphasizing that Ortiz needs time off to recover from his latest match. "It was a brutal fight," Garcia acknowledged, "but there are great plans ahead. It's up to Golden Boy Promotions, Turki Alec, and Crawford to make the bout happen. Garcia also noted that Crawford might have other plans, like a possible fight with Canelo Alvarez, which could affect the timing. Reflecting on Ortiz's performance, Garcia highlighted how the recent bout was the first time Ortiz went the distance in a tough match. He explained, "It's all a learning experience for him. Ortiz showed resilience, but the fight exposed areas where he can grow, particularly in terms of defense." Overall, Garcia was pleased with Ortiz's performance, though he admitted it could have been better. Turkey Alec and Jeff Mayweather both voiced their thoughts post-fight. Turkey admired the intense match and suggested it was so close that a draw would have been fair. He also hinted at a potential rematch between Ortiz and Bohacek. Mayweather, however, believed Bohacek deserved the win. He had 2 knockdowns and won 3 rounds, Mayweather argued. When discussing Ortiz's readiness to face Crawford, Mayweather expressed skepticism. "Ortiz has a lot of knockouts, but we don't really know the quality of his opponents. Against a real challenge, we saw some vulnerabilities." In analyzing a potential Crawford-Ortiz matchup, Mayweather emphasized the gap in experience and skill. "Crawford is on a higher level compared to Ortiz," he stated. "He has adaptability and ring IQ that Ortiz hasn't faced yet." However, Mayweather acknowledged that styles make fights, and the dynamic between Crawford and Ortiz could create an exciting match. Ryan Garcia added his criticism on Twitter, implying that Bohacek either won the fight or that it should have been a draw. "Got dropped twice, got hit with right hands you can see coming," Garcia tweeted. "Don't act unbeatable when this fight was close." While Turkey Alec and Golden Boy Promotions are working to get these fighters into the ring, Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing have also expressed interest in Crawford. Meanwhile, Jaron "Boots" Ennis has been calling out Crawford after his recent knockout win. Turkey Alec even reached out to congratulate Ennis and expressed his interest in setting up a Crawford-Ennis bout at 154 pounds. Eddie Hearn acknowledged the potential matchup, calling it one of the biggest fights in the sport. However, he noted that it might take time for both fighters to step into the ring together. "It's our job to position Ennis for that fight," Hearn explained. "Ortiz is currently at the peak of his career and looking for his next big fight. If a rematch between Ortiz and Bohacek happens, the results could differ, adding more intrigue to the division." Bohacek, who was confident before the fight, remains defiant. "I am the best boxer in my division," Bohacek declared. "I will break their plans." Boxing legend Bernard Hopkins weighed in on Ortiz's potential, warning against underestimating him. "If Ortiz wins his next fight, he's a serious threat to anyone, including Crawford," Hopkins said. Despite Crawford's age, Hopkins reminded fans that he remains a dangerous opponent. Ultimately, whether it's Ortiz, Boots Ennis, or another challenger, it seems inevitable that Crawford will face another high-stakes fight soon. The boxing community eagerly awaits the next announcement. Which fight do you want to see? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to share this video with fellow boxing fans.